this is Robbie Parker, and I'm going to be joined by Big D from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and we're going to be doing a review of the 1997 movie Scream 2. So, in this movie, Sidney Prescott is now in college when murders begin to happen as a new Ghostface emerges, planning to make a sequel. So before I get into my part, I'm going to let Big D do his part, as always, so take it away, Big D.
Hey everyone, this is the Big D, and I am going to once again be collabing with Robbie, and we're going to be talking about the 1997 slasher sequel, Scream 2, once again directed by the late, great Wes Craven. Now, the film follows the character of Sidney Prescott, along with the other survivors of the Woodsboro Massacre, at a fictional college in Ohio, Windsor College, where they are targeted by a copycat killer. And of course, that copycat killer uses the identity of Ghostface. Now, like the first films, this film combines the violence of the slasher genre with elements of comedy, satire, and whodunit mystery while satirizing the cliche of film sequels. Now, I actually like how the film starts out where two Windsor College seniors, Maureen and Phil, attend a sneak peek preview of Stab, a film based on the events of the Woodsboro Massacre, which I think was pretty cool, especially how the two got killed by Ghostface. Now, I've seen this a few times, not as many times as the first one, but I've actually come to like Scream 2 from what it had to offer. This is a great continuation to the first film, and it brought back some of the great cast we remembered. Well, of surviving characters anyway. Another thing I liked about Scream 2 was its whodunit bit and what have you, and I gotta say, it proved to be a good one. Even though this was released in 1997, a year after the first film, and this was a few months after another slasher came out, which was I Know What You Did Last Summer. However, the film faced controversy following significant issues with plot information leaking onto the internet revealing the identity of the killers. Anyway, also some critics claim that the most memorable pieces from the film were created by composers Danny Elfman and Hans Zimmer. As Elfman's contribution had been specially written for the film, but Zimmer's score for the 96 film, Broken Arrow, was controversially used in the film, replacing Marco Beltrami, who was originally the real composer's work. Scream 2's soundtrack was actually pretty good, as it featured great songs from artists like Everclear, Tonic, the Foo Fighters, Collective Soul, the Dave Matthews Band, John Smith's Blues Explosion, and Master P doing Scream with Silk the Shocker. Now, the cast is pretty good, as we have David Arquette and Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox all back as Dewey, Sidney, and Gail. They all did just as good a job as they did in the first film, and I appreciated having those three back. Jamie Kennedy also returns from the first film as Randy, although unfortunately his character gets killed off close to about halfway through the film. We also have Sarah Michelle Gellar, Laurie Metcalf, Elise Neal, Jerry O'Connell, Timothy Olyphant, Jada Pinkett, and many others. We also have Omar Epps in the film, Wayne Martin, as well as Rebecca Gayheart, who would also appear in another slasher the following year in Urban Legend. And also, Liev Schreiber returns as Kyle Wearing. We see a little more of him, unlike the first film. Now, for the kills in the film, I thought they were really good and what have you, and they were absolutely really good. It was pretty fast-paced with Ghostface, who was once again voiced by Roger L. Jackson. An exceptionally good job. So after watching a few more times years later, I've come to realize I like Scream 2. I like it almost as much as the first one. The first one will always be a classic to me, but this one really comes close because I think this is one of the good sequels to this, definitely. I would recommend this. So, as always, thank you for making me a part of this, Robbie. And until our next collab, this is the Big D saying, see ya.
Thank you, Big D. It was great to have you on here as always. I always enjoy doing reviews with you. So in this movie, the returning cast are all once again great. I feel like everybody is excellent in their roles again. Jamie Kennedy, who I forgot to mention in my review for the review of the last movie, is just absolutely perfect as Randy, and I absolutely loved him in this movie and everything. And I love that he got a bigger role in here, although he does die halfway through the movie and stuff. But I do love, like, I feel like he had a lot bigger part in this one and everything. Maybe it's just because his death was a significant part of the movie. But I do really love him in this one. And I love, like, the meta humor and stuff, and when him and Dewey are questioning each other about movies, and they're both like, how do we know that you're not the killer? And they're being suspectful with each other, even though you know that neither one of them really believe that they're actually the killer and stuff. Just the dynamic between the characters is just what makes these movies so good. And the new characters are pretty good too. The ghost face reveals were pretty cool. Mrs. Loomis, played by Laurie Metcalf, was an unexpected surprise for me. I did not see that twist coming for some reason, and it really shocked me and everything. And I loved that and everything. And I think part of it is also I just didn't expect Laurie Metcalf to be playing a psychotic killer like that, because I'm used to her as Aunt Becky from Roseanne and the Connors and stuff. But she was, or Andy's mom from Toy Story, so she always plays these likable characters, so this was something kind of different from her, although Jackie is crazy in her own ways, just not the same kind of crazy as Miss Loomis. But I did love that reveal and stuff. Mickey I thought was okay. I didn't care for his motivation, but I did think it was a smart one, wanting to just blame it on the movies and stuff, just showing how crazy he is and everything. He's one of the crazier ghost faces just because he's just doing it for a stupid reason and everything. He doesn't have much of a motivation, just he wants to be in the media and be a big news story like O.J. Simpson, I guess. But I love that. Like, and the other new side characters that they introduced in here were pretty good too. You got Jerry O'Connell as Derek, who's the new boyfriend, and he is really likable. I really liked his character, and I really rooted for him and Sydney and stuff. I really wish that he wouldn't have been killed off in this one. It would have been a character that lasted throughout at least maybe a couple more of the movies and stuff. And I also really liked Sarah Michelle Gellar as Cece Cooper. She was really likable too and everything. Liv Schreiber as Cotton Weary, who had a small role in Scream 1, but you mainly just saw him on TV. He had a bigger, consistent role in this movie, and he was kind of a red herring character. And I'm not a huge fan of Cotton Weary. He just kind of gets on my nerves. He's another character like Gale that I just don't really care for, the characters that are really obsessed with the fame and stuff. I'm more like on Dewey and Sydney's level, I guess, in the story. I sympathize with them more and stuff, but I do like them. And I also liked Elise Neal as Hallie, Sydney's new best friend and everything. She was a really likable character. And another one that I really didn't want to see die, it's like, give Sydney a freaking break here. Like at least let some of her people live for once and everything. I know it gives an emotional gut punch and stuff, especially because Neve Campbell is so good in the role, but it's like can't you cut the girl a break sometimes? But I do enjoy this movie quite a bit though. As far as negatives go, I do feel like the stakes would have been a little bit higher, should have been a little bit higher and everything. I think more than just Randy should have died. As far as the big characters go, I feel like one of the main three should have died and everything, or at least died in the next one. But that's one of the things I do kind of have a problem with on this series, is it's kind of not consistent on stakes and everything. Some of them feel like the stakes are higher than others. I feel like the stakes are going to be higher in Scream 7 and everything, but I also feel like there was a lot of things that I could speculate on that could use its own video and stuff. But I think it sucks that Randy had to die and everything. I wish they would have kept him around, at least for till Scream 3 and everything. Just even though we did get that little cameo in Scream 3, I wish that he would have been able to be alive throughout the whole franchise and stuff. He was a character, I feel like, if you're going to keep characters, he's one that should have been kept around and everything. They could have had an original core for with that. But the opening scene with Stab was okay. It just wasn't as strong as the opening scene with Casey in the first movie and everything. I didn't really care for that as much. And everything. And Gail still gets on my nerves in this movie. Maybe a little bit more, because you would think that she would have changed after the events of the first one. But she's we find out she writes the book and she's heartless. But she does go on a nice little character arc too. So like I said, she's kind of a love-hate character for me. I like her little character arc, but I also just don't like her. She gets on my nerves. And I always love when Sydney punches her. Those scenes always crack me up. And I thought Stewie being alive was also kind of unrealistic, as many times as he got stabbed and everything. That's why I kind of feel like maybe he should have died. As much as I hate to see him die, and we do eventually see it happen in Scream 5, I kind of feel like maybe he should have died in this one and everything, because there's just no way he would have survived that and everything. I didn't really care for the reformed relationship between Dewey and Gail. It felt like it was kind of forced, that they just were wanting to force a romance into the story and everything. I feel like they should have let them dissolve and then maybe work back into getting back together by the end of Scream 3 or something. I think they should have just planned out this one and Scream 3 together and stuff. But a lot of things didn't work out with Scream 3, and I'll talk about that one next time. But all in all, I think this is a good movie. It's not as groundbreaking as the first Scream, but it's a good enough sequel to the original, and it's still a fun time and everything. So I'd say I'd give Scream 2 an 8 out of 10. So anyway, thank you Big D again for joining me, and hope you guys enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody. I just want to say thank you for watching this video and everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and get more people going, help the channel grow. I really appreciate it, and thank you all, and have a good day.
Ah!